think we're gonna have to have a roof on by the end of the day. So that's what I'm doing today, instead of everything else that we thought we were gonna do. One of the bucks, one of our baby goats, is bleeding pretty bad above his eye. I think his horn is cut. And he's a baby buck, so he plays rough with other baby buck. So I'm gonna get some warm water, try to wash it off and investigate what it is. It looks like both horns maybe bleeding, and he may have just gone head to head with that other buck. I don't know. The other buck is light in color, and so you can tell he's got a lot of blood on him too, but I think we've determined it's the dark color buck we call Bucky who's bleeding. Oh yeah, right there in front of the horn. He just, I think he just went.
Fronts of the horn, if you peel the hair up, there's a, like it's ripped off almost. Skin. Yeah. They
play butt all the time, but
they must have just
really made contact.
Come here, buddy.
Don't eat my baby.
Sorry, buddy. I'm gonna do it one more time. Okay.
Make sure you just get it real good on there.
You do not look innocent in this scenario. What can you tell me about the incident? Yes, is that your blood? Someone else's blood? You can't handle the truth. I think that little buck's gonna be all right. A little blood. Never really hurt a buck. It makes me wonder how often out in the wild, you know, you've got deer in the rut, or you've got moose or elk fighting for mating rights, and I bet they get pretty bloody, but you don't usually see it. I'm sure that's kind of natural for a goat. I have to read about that. Today was a pretty good day. We went to Coeur d'Alene to look at a used car. We made a deal with a guy for a Dodge Durango, and we're going to go back on Wednesday and pick it up. We also went looking for a chest freezer. I don't know if everybody knows this, but it's impossible at this point in time in this part of the country to buy a chest freezer. You can go to every home center, every appliance store, Best Buy, even shopping online. They're out of stock. I think people are maybe stocking up food or whatever, not sure. We planned to buy a chest freezer as soon as we got here, and we just kind of put it off for a little while. Now we have enough solar power to run it, and we went to buy one, and there's none in stock. And you can order one, and it will come in 4 months. So as my son said, it'll be freezing by then, so we won't need it in 4 months. But we ended up getting, off Craigslist, a chest freezer, very small one. It's 7.1 cubic feet, which is not tiny, but I mean, it's pretty... It's pretty small. We wanted something at least 2 or 3 times bigger than that. On the upside, it doesn't use very much power. On the downside, we bought it off Craigslist. And the guy who sold it to us was pretty cool. As soon as we walked in, he threw it in the back of our truck in his yard. He moved my tools, put it in the back of my truck. I got out of the truck. I said, hey, I'd really like to take a look at it. So he opens up the box. He slides it about 90% off of the freezer. Says, yep, there it is. Slides it back down. Fails to show me this. Yeah, pretty cool, huh? It's been dropped. I've plugged it in for maybe 30 minutes, and it is cold. I don't think that's going to affect it, but pretty slick how he didn't show me the whole thing. I don't think I'm going to tell Deanna about the damage, because she's going to be really mad. And it doesn't really affect how the freezer works, and we were pretty desperate. We paid $400 for this really small freezer today. It was a bit of an act of desperation, and now I see it's damaged. But she'll find out, because for one, she's very observant, and for two, she edits this channel. So she's probably going to find out one way or other. But if the first time she notices it is when she's running the video, that would be interesting.
Some kind of weird dust cyclone going on right in front of us in the road.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh! Like a dust devil or something. That looks dangerous. So today we were sitting at lunch, and all of a sudden there was this swirl of wind out at the goat coop, and the roof blew off, And then we had some things sitting on top of the roof which went flying across the yard, and it was very scary for me to see it happen. But it was very brief, and but now we're repairing the roof to the goat pen.
There was a dust devil, and then the roof blew off.
Of what?
The goat coop.
Wow.
It was like it was like knocked it out. It was awesome.
It was amazing. Everyone else was really scared and bummed out. I was pumped. So cool.
You were pumped that the goat shelter broke?
I mean, it's a lot of work, but I'm sitting here and I'm watching the roof blow off it. It was pretty cool.
I didn't see it, but I came out and suddenly the roof was gone.
I did not see it. I heard it, but I didn't see anything.
I saw a tornado.
You did?
Yeah.
Where?
It blew the top off the goat pen.
Yes, it did. What did you see today, buddy?
This is a reenactment. First thing happened was this. Woo! Like, what is that? And then helicopter.
Did you see what happened today, Gabe?
Yes, it was pretty cool.
Would you like to tell us more?
You saw the reenactment. What more could you want?
This is the old hay box from the milk stanchion that was sitting on the roof of the goat coop, and it blew all the way over here.
So the old hay box, actually flew all the way over here, but then I brought it over there.
Oh, you picked it up and moved it back? So it was actually quite a bit further if it was over there.
You haven't watched the other video yet?
No.
So you don't know that the freezer we got has a big dent on it?
No way.
The top is broke, like, yeah.
I had no idea.
It's like screwed up. So that's why he lifted it. Like, he lifted the box, like, look, see, freezer, closed it up, $400, gone.
That is not okay. I want
What?
to call him.
What? What?
I didn't know that, Brendan. You should have called him and said, I want my money back. This is a broken freezer you sold me.
It worked great, and we couldn't find any other freezers, so I went with it. And I was pretty ticked, but at the same time, we really needed it, and it really has worked very well for us. And we haven't come near putting it up. But
Need a bigger one.
what did he
And
want
now
for the big one?
The prospects are December before I've looked again for buying a bigger freezer, and they're saying December 30th. We have a big day ahead of us. The vet is coming out to disbud the calf. It's been a really hard decision to disbud her because I'm really all natural and I don't want to mess with our animals. I want them to be raised naturally and grow naturally. The cow that we bought, her horns are little buds. She was disbudded as a calf, but it was either done wrong or sometimes if you don't get all of the tissue, it'll grow in partially. And so she has tiny little horns. Not a huge deal, but she's gotten me in the side a couple times, swinging her head around, and it hurts. Way better than big sharp horns. But we decided that in the interest of her being a family milk cow, whether it's ours or somebody else's, probably the best thing is for her to not have horns. It's just easier to deal with them, though they are still dangerous animals. They're very big and can throw their weight around. Having a horn is just that much more dangerous. So we've made the choice to bring the vet in and disbud the calf this morning. And so I think she should be here any minute.
There's more nub than I thought now that you're shaved.
Yeah, they're always, but the good news, so the nice thing is I can still move them away from the skull a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Once they get about this high though, they're pretty set on the
fixed,
skull.
yeah.
And that's why we use the gouge ones for the bigger ones because you
Yeah.
actually have to gouge that little bit of the skull tissue out. Yeah. Yeah, he's really good. That one looks good.
So so much calmer than I thought she'd be.
Yeah, so my block worked well on that
Very
one.
good.
We'll see if it works well on the other side.
Today we're going to kill a duck. We got ducks maybe a month ago, and we always knew that we would eventually butcher some of them. We've never done a duck before. Killed a chicken about 2 months ago, and it wasn't that scary, but for some reason I'm just really shaken up about doing the ducks. I do not love these ducks. They are very frustrating. They run away almost daily, and we have to go get them from neighbors. We get phone calls, and it's getting annoying. We think maybe we're a little overcrowded, too many ducks in too little space, or rather just not enough room in the pond for them. And so we've just decided that we need to be down by about half the number of ducks that we had. So did a lot of reading this morning and watching some videos, and a lot about butchering a duck, not a lot about actually dispatching the duck. So one of the methods we read was to take like a feed sack and cut a hole in the corner, and that will, you can put the duck in the sack and stick the head through, and that will kind of immobilize the duck. You can kind of squeeze it tight, keep it neat, take the head off, and then start your work. So that's what we're doing. Not exactly excited about it, but that's just part of the process of living on the homestead. So all in all, we killed 2 ducks today. I was a little disappointed about just how much meat was on those ducks. We elected just to essentially carve out the breast and thigh and leg and not try to get the whole duck cleaned. Probably could have got a little more meat if we'd done that, but there's not much on the duck's wing, and there's not much else to eat on a duck. But it went okay. We were pretty nervous to get started, but of course once you make your first chop, it's just kind of downhill. So 2 ducks, about almost 2 pounds of meat off those ducks, and now we're down to 9 ducks. That might be a more manageable number.
When you have the right tools for the job.
If you want to know whether or not you can hammer a screw in with your bare hands, no, you can't, but I can. No goats were harmed in the making of this dust devil because they were all somewhere else. Thankfully, they would never come back in here.